New Nicolas Winding Refn.
That was messed up.
Welcome to Pomegranate Radio with your host, Jonathan Cook.
The Neon Demon, directed by Nicolas Winding Refn. What do you say about a film like this? What do you say? What do you say? It's tempting to say that the Neon Demon meanders almost aimlessly, except that Refn clearly knows where he's going with pretty much everything. It's tempting to say that the Neon Demon's characters are kinda one-dimensional, except that's kinda the point. It's tempting to say that the Neon Demon is a fairly dull horror film, except that it really isn't a horror film. What I'm getting at is the Neon Demon is most definitely a good film. It's just not good the way Drive and Only God Forgives are. In many ways, the Neon Demon feels like the offspring of those two films, as if Refn wanted the accessibility of Drive married with the visuals of Only God Forgives. And the film is visually stunning, and it's very accessible. But as a whole, it's not nearly as strong as its parents, for two big reasons. Elle Fanning is dreadful. Fanning plays Jessie, an aspiring model recently moved to LA to pursue her dreams, who very quickly becomes the model du jour. You might say a little too quickly. The problem is, Fanning is so distant, so disengaged from the audience that you never find a way into her story. You never find a reason to care about what happens to her. She is blank, almost bored the entire time. And when her character is the protagonist and she is the one we're supposed to be concerned with, it really becomes difficult to sit through the film. I think a large part of the problem is that she is simply too inexperienced an actress for this type of role. It's an incredibly complex role, and Fanning simply does not understand how to convey that complexity in a compelling way. Equally problematic, however, is the script. Very little happens in this film. It's not simply that the script is deliberately paced. It's not slow, it's deliberately paced. It's that almost nothing of consequence happens. And when something does happen, the dialogue. Oh God, the god-awful things that come out of their mouths make you wish someone would stomp you to death in a brutal manner reminiscent of Drive's elevator scene. Nothing that is said is subtle. Nothing. It's roll your eyes into the back of your head until you go blind, cringeworthy at times. But, as bad as Fanning is, and as bad as the script can be, there are moments, truly inspired moments that equal and occasionally even surpass Refn's best work. There are two sequences near the end of the film, one about 20 minutes from the end and the other about 5 minutes before the end, that are absolutely unbelievable. Both were grotesque and incredibly, profoundly disturbing, and yet unbelievably erotically charged. Refn is definitely fetishizing, and you do feel dirty. And yes, a lot of people are going to be upset by those two scenes, but damn. Woo! And the cinematography is fantastic throughout. Maybe not as jaw-dropping as Only God Forgives, but the visuals are unlike almost anything you will see outside of a Nicolas Winding Refn film. The closest analog I can think of is Suspiria by Dario Argento. The composition and the color, the use of color, truly elevate this film beyond its flaws and beyond its story. This is a film to see just for its visual style. Jenna Malone as Ruby blew my mind. She is absolutely fantastic and really commits to the role. What you see her do, what she is willing to do on camera, it's unbelievable. She figures centrally into one of the sequences I mentioned at the end earlier, and holy crap, I didn't know whether to vomit or be turned on. Seriously. The music by Cliff Martinez is incredible. A truly throbbing neon heartbeat for the film. Easily his best soundtrack for a Nicolas Winding Refn film. There's a lot more I'd like to say about this film, but I really can't without spoiling things. This truly is a film you need to see in ignorance. One thing I will repeat though, this is not a horror film. There are no jump scares, and until the last 10 minutes or so, there really is not much in the way of violence. There is a lot of disturbing content, but it's not a horror film. It's another case, much like Drive being an action film, of misleading marketing, I guess. Do I recommend The Neon Demon? Yes, absolutely. It has its flaws. It's not Refn's best film. It is an unforgettable experience. You have to see it. This is Jonathan for Pomegranate Radio, saying thank you for listening. You've been beautiful. Have a good night.
Pomegranate.